That is good legal
This
advice.
is America, and you have a right to defend yourself.
No, yes, I know. I am here. I'm here for
Emily
it.
hates self-defense.
Oh my gosh, stop it. No. We are the Arms Attorneys. Today we are talking about our most critical self-defense advice. This is like putting a self-defense lawyer in your pocket, quick and dirty. How are you going to be your best self when you have to defend yourself? Before we get started, show your support for the Second Amendment by hitting the like button. And Richard Hayes, I think this is a good, just pocket-sized version of what we do.
Yeah, and the way we're going to break this down is kind of two things you do before self-defense, two things after self-defense. Some of the stuff is obvious, some of it may not be so obvious, so make sure to stick around to hear all this stuff. But we got to talking about this, and it's like, if I had my perfect self-defense client,
Yes.
and there's a long list of things that I would like, but if I had to pick two things before and two things after, these are the things that we would pick.
All right. So before the self-defense incident, you're advising someone how to keep themselves safe. What's the first thing you tell them?
Well, I want you to start thinking about the situations where you would use force, situations where you would use deadly force. Now, why do you do this ahead of time? Well, one, you got to make sure it complies with your state's law, because if you have a situation in your mind, you find yourself in that situation, if you're using force or deadly force, and it doesn't line up with your state's law, among other things, and we're going to go into it in a little bit of detail, but thinking about this stuff ahead of time.
Yeah, and complying with your state's law is the key there, right? Because you can't just say, well, if someone comes after me, I'm going to shoot them. You have to say, okay, these are my most frequently used self-defense scenarios, right? A dog attacks me. A person breaks into my home. Someone tries to get into my vehicle. Someone confronts me in a parking lot without a weapon. Someone confronts me in a parking lot with a weapon. I think that's more than 5. But like if I were just throwing them all together.
Yeah, those are, in our experience, road rage, you want to throw that one in there too. I mean,
Well, I would say that's someone getting into my vehicle. It's
Right.
almost never carjacking, right? It's almost always road rage.
Yeah, but you think about those scenarios and how you're going to respond in each of those, and then also
Legally.
Yeah, and you know yourself better than anybody else. If you take your dog on a walk every single night and once a week a random wild dog attacks you, guess which one of those situations might present itself in the future? So, kind of applying your you have this specialized knowledge. You need to think about yourself in those situations.
Right, because it's when, you get into that scenario where like you're pumping gas and someone confronts you and they seem dangerous and they're making demands of you or they're yelling at you and you don't see a weapon on them, but their hands are in their pockets. You need to have thought about, this is what my state's law says. This is what I know about proportionality. This is what I know about imminence. And this is how I'm going to walk through the scenario. Because when it happens, you don't have time to pull out your code book and call your local defense attorney and figure it out. You have to think about it first. And that's just, I think a lot of people who watch this channel do that.
Yeah.
Instinctively. They're minded that way. But if you are not, or if it's been a while, refresh yourself because these things change too.
Or really think about really silly things too. Like, have your circumstances changed? Does your routine just happen to land you at pumping your gas at nighttime? Has your neighbor gone off the deep end and now is extra confrontational?
Right.
You know this stuff, or have you changed? Do you have mobility issues now? Do you is your reaction time changing? Have you lost fine motor skills? You got to think about these
the
things.
Opposite. Are y'all juiced up on testosterone now?
Yeah.
Invincible.
Yeah,
Well,
So, thinking about the most common scenarios before time, it's really worth your weight in gold.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think that takes us on to our second one before. And this is a little bit of a lawyer tricksy one, but we got to say it.
It's so important.
It's avoidance.
Yes.
Yes. You win every fight you don't find yourself in. And the law generally is structured in a way that it wants you to avoid. And even in states that, let's say, there's no legal duty to retreat, in your experience, what do jurors think about that?
They love to see you retreat. Juries love to see you run away. No, not necessarily run away, but they love to see that you are the guy who didn't want to get into the confrontation or who took some opportunity to try to de-escalate. I was talking to Leslie the other day because Leslie and I share a lot of clients. We really like to be in trial together and be in the courtroom together. And we were talking about how not the cases that we've had come through our fingers, right? I mean, not everything we've handled, but everyone we've seen charged. Because remember, we talk to a lot of people right after they get into a self-defense incident who never end up arrested and charged. And I think that's probably one of the things we do best is help people through those moments without getting them arrested and charged. But for all of the people Leslie and I have seen arrested and charged, we could think of one who we felt like did exactly the right thing, avoiding at every incident, never, every instance, never escalating before he had to shoot and kill the guy. Everyone else that we've had in the courtroom, taken to trial, arrested, charged, put through the system, we could find at least one moment where we said, he really wasn't the good guy in that moment. He helped bring that situation, the boiling point, up, not down.
Yeah, and the way that I think about it is jurors like this innocent actor, clean hands, beep bopping along, threat is, presents itself. Person has no safe opportunity to do anything else, and guess what? They're forced to act. Well, under ideal circumstances, that's what you would have.
Yeah, well, and not just jurors like it, but like that's who doesn't get arrested and charged in the first place.
Yeah.
It's like if you can be that guy, your chances of like just needing us to help you through a really good police statement so they can close that file, it skyrockets.
Yeah. And, again, this takes into account a few assumptions. Sometimes there's no safe alternative to
True.
using force or deadly force. Totally get that. And guess what? You will get a lot of leeway from police, prosecutors, juries. If you're truly cornered, if there really is no reasonable safe alternative, guess what? That's not going to be held against you. But in these states where maybe there's even no legal duty imposed to retreat, jurors get that instruction and they just cannot help themselves
No.
from considering it. And so avoidance, if you have taken those steps to avoid, not put yourself in those situations, don't be a cog in the Rube Goldberg machine of disaster, they like to see that stuff.
Yes.
All right. And I think that takes us. So having the plan ahead of time, avoiding the confrontation. Yes, we know that one's a little cheeky.
I don't think it is. You're apologizing too much for it. That is good legal advice.
This is America, and you have a right to defend yourself.
No, yes, I know. I am here. I'm here for
Emily
it.
hates self-defense.
Oh my gosh, stop it. No, I am here for it. But I will say my Second Amendment eagle flying in the background, picture of the Liberty Bell above my shoulder, Emily, who's like, yeah, self-defense, you do what the law says you can do, is different from defense attorney Emily, who says avoidance is absolutely critical if you want your case to be resolved quickly and in your best interest after you have acted. Avoidance, avoidance, avoidance. And that is legal advice formed over the course of 13 years now. I've been a gun lawyer. No,
Yeah.
12 years. I mean, it's real.
Yeah. All right. Next one's things to be doing after. Again, we've thought of a really long list of things. Wish our clients did these things. For the after, we came up with these are the two most important. If you do nothing else, you'll probably be better
You've
off
already shot the guy.
than 99% of people. Yeah. So let's even say you've lost these first two. All right. Now you're just stuck in the ears ringing, eyes adjusting. What do I do now section I mean, you've saved your life. Now there's a whole lot of other stuff that's about to happen.
There's a lot more life saving left.
Yes. So the first one is obviously don't talk.
Yes, that's probably the most obvious thing. That's the thing everybody already knows.
Yeah, that one's obvious.
Yeah. No, don't talk. We all have that natural instinct. I have it too. To sing like a canary. Especially when you feel like I'm in the right. I did what I knew I had to do, and you want to justify yourself. However, like my husband sees the Amazon boxes come in, and I know that we needed those things, but he's like, what? And the answer is don't talk to him either.
Yeah.
Say, don't worry about it, sweetie.
Well, no, and it comes down to this. And this is a unique position that self-defenders find themselves in, apart and different from a lot of folks accused of criminal wrongdoing. Is maybe you've never even been in trouble before, and instead of, tiptoeing into low-level crime, you've just dove headfirst into
Murderville.
Yeah, Murderville, real serious felony territory. And so it's nothing like most people have ever experienced. And while the inclination, and I know this because I've felt the pressure too, people are asking you questions, you want to explain, justify, rationalize. Okay, you saved your life in that moment. Now we are planning for the next 99 years to life without parole section of your life. And it's a different mode that most people have never been in, and so they're not prepared to address.
And so that's don't talk until you've spoken to an attorney,
Yep.
right? We want to give a statement, a good, solid self defense statement, but you have to do that with a lawyer. We would have to do that with a lawyer. If I shot somebody, I would not give a statement until I called Richard, until I called Edwin, until I called Leslie to get there with me and coach me through it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. Your adrenaline will not allow you to do it properly.
And again, it's not that there aren't things that need to be explained. Clearly, there are.
Yes.
But what's nice, especially with the assistance of an
I saw the
attorney.
devil in his eyes. I actually
Yeah.
had a client say that on the stand. That's why he shot.
Yeah. Well, but,
You
and
got
I
to tell
mean,
people that.
maybe this comes up sometimes, but it's like the things that an attorney says can't be used against the client.
Right.
We can say all kinds of things, right? We can control how information's released, what gets disclosed. Maybe something doesn't get disclosed. But having that barrier between you and the police and a potential life sentence, it's really important.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we did the first two. We're on the slash, we're on the home stretch. What is the second thing after a self defense incident we came up with as being the most important?
Yes. So after you have not spoken until you've talked with your attorney, the second thing that I would advise people, that I'd say it's my most crucial legal advice after the incident, is you treat everything in your entire life, from the moment you pull the trigger, you treat everything in your entire life as though it has an exhibit sticker on it, because it does. And that's everything from like your body language, because you're going to be on a bunch of body cams, right? So like your body language, the way that you're even answering kind of because you're going to have to answer basic questions. Your name, is this where you live? Things like that. Um, your tone there, every text message you send, every interaction you have with literally anyone from that moment forward, every picture you post on Facebook, everything has a potential exhibit sticker on it. And you are slowly creating things that could be used against you, either as to your guilt and innocence in the shooting, but also you would be amazed when they get to assess your punishment. You would be amazed what kind of ridiculous nonsense can come into trial. And I've seen it. I mean, I know I'm going on a soliloquy here, but you know, I had a client once, he shot somebody, and we went down to the HPD homicide floor. We gave a statement. We got released that night, although he was in fact later charged because he was indicted by the grand jury. But he was dropped off by the police back at his car. And when he got dropped off back at his car, he realized that they did not have his knife that he had when he was arrested. Well, not arrested, but detained and taken to HPD homicide. And they gave him his gun back. And he's like, "Where's my knife?" And they're like, "We don't have a knife." And he's like, "Where's my knife?" They're like, "We don't have a knife." And he got really aggressive with them and like really mean and really kind of like, he like bowed up real fast. And guess what came into trial? Guess what the judge allowed that cop to testify to over my stringent and Edwin's stringent objections? But that was a big deal. That
Yeah.
was something where he could have said, "You know what? Y'all took a knife off me, but I'll get with my lawyer and we will handle it." And he could have stayed calm and it would not have been used against him. But he didn't see through that lens of everything is evidence now. And it was evidence.
Well, and you hate to get those emails from a prosecutor that are like, "This your client," with link to
Facebook post.
Facebook post. It's like, that really, that's when
We get those too often.
yeah. Well, and it'll be like news article about shooting. Guess what? This is a story of public interest. And you know what? Reporters are humans, and guess what? They get things wrong more than we should probably hold them more accountable. But it's just like comment section in there attacking people, talking. It's a nightmare.
Yes. So, I mean, I don't know. I actually think this is incredibly important. This is second to not talking to the police. There is nothing more important than just living your life right after that event, because you still are fighting for your life. We said that earlier.
Yeah.
You are still fighting for your life until the moment you have that document in your hands that says there are no charges, whether it's a no bill, a dismissal, or your acquittal verdict, your not guilty verdict form. You are still fighting for your life, and you have to take it as seriously as the moment that you shot somebody.
Yeah, and it's a good opportunity to maybe you stop drinking, maybe you stop doing drugs. We've had those clients.
Get a little closer to Jesus.
This doesn't apply to most folks, but there are folks that this does apply to. All this other stuff, even if it happened, let's say you had shooting incident, years elapse.
Yes.
You're still there's no statute of limitations for an alleged murder.
No.
So, living your life right from that point forward, because you never know how this stuff comes up later.
Yes, and it does. And I wish it didn't. I wish there were more good judges who would be more circumspect as to what they let into trial, but unfortunately, that is not the world that we live in.
Yeah. But we hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you did, consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and help us fight the anti-2A algorithm by sharing this video. And armedattorneys.com. Join the newsletter if you enjoy this kind of update stuff. We don't spam people, but we'd love to see you on the newsletter.
Yep. And please question and comment for us below. As always, until next time, we're the Armed Attorneys.